Peyton Manning. Words cannot describe how much I love, respect, and appreciate everything Peyton brought to the game of football. This is my favorite all-time quarterback, and I don't think that'll ever really change. I just love everything about Peyton's game. I love everything about his career. I love what he brought to the table, and I love the struggles that he went through, because those struggles helped mold Peyton into the great quarterback that he'll become. He suffered a lot of terrible postseason losses early in his career, and it took a lot for him to change the narrative that was placed on him at that time. But I love what he went through. I love the grind. I love the struggle. I loved all the ups and downs of Peyton's career, because that's what made it so exciting to follow this man. It was such a unique career, and I don't think we'll ever really see something like it again. The only one that's more unique than his is Tom Brady, but I just appreciate what Peyton brought to the game of football, and I appreciated how he approached the game of football. I appreciated the charisma he brought to the game on and off the field. Everything Peyton brought was just something special to me. And I go back and I watch some of his old games, and I just appreciate the greatness I'm seeing on my screen. You know, one of my favorite great moments from Peyton Manning, my all-time favorite moment from him, was in that 2006 AFC Championship game against the Patriots. It was Colts-Patriots, that 18-point comeback by Manning and that squad to get to that Super Bowl that Peyton has been fighting for such a long time. It was such a special moment. That 18-point comeback was something different. In my opinion, that's the greatest comeback of Peyton Manning's career, because that was a moment that defined his career and changed everything. Up until that point, Peyton struggled in the postseason. His team struggled in the postseason, but most importantly, he struggled to beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. That moment, that game, was such a game changer. It was such a difference maker in his career, because it completely changed how the Brady-Manning narrative was. Because at first, Brady was just dominating, and Manning just couldn't get anything going. But that game defined how this rivalry was going to be, and that's what makes this rivalry truly special. My favorite moment from that game was just Peyton Manning on the sideline. You know, they just overcame that 18-point comeback. The game's winding down. We're under a minute. It's the final possession for the New England Patriots. They're trying to go down the field to score a touchdown to win this game and get back to the Super Bowl. What is Peyton Manning doing at this point? He's on the sideline. He's not looking at the game. He's not paying attention to the game. He's not talking with his teammates. He's not walking around and talking to the coaches. Peyton Manning is sitting on the bench by himself with his head down, just praying that this is the moment that will change his career. This is the moment he finally beats Brady and the Patriots, breaks through, and gets to the Super Bowl. And I appreciate that moment. I love that moment, because that moment right there is what changed his career. Not only that, but it just shows the respect that Brady and Peyton Manning have for each other, because it was such a unique rivalry. It's one of the best rivalries in sports. I love this rivalry between these two, and I'm just so glad that I got to see these two go up against each other in the postseason. I'm glad I got to see both these quarterbacks play in the same era, because you can argue these are the two greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen play this sport. And we got to see these two go up against each other at the highest point, the AFC Championship game. And we got to see that 4 times. But what makes this 06 moment special, because this one was the game where Peyton Manning finally broke through, beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, and since then, Manning would go on to never lose to Tom Brady in the postseason ever again. He's 3-1 against Brady in AFC Championship games, and I love that that's the case. It's something special, man. It's truly something special. I look at that moment as just a career-defining moment, just a game changer, something that's completely different, something that changed Peyton Manning's career into what it would come to be, the greatness that it is today. That moment was what defined the change in Peyton Manning's career. Another moment I love was the comeback. The comeback, not in a game, but the comeback of his career. Because he dealt with that neck injury and the Colts thought he was done. At that point, they had their new guy in Andrew Luck, and that's where they were going. They were done with Peyton Manning. Most people didn't think he'd be able to come back and play football, but he had that neck surgery, and the Denver Broncos saw it was Peyton Manning, and they're like, well, this is Peyton Manning. I gotta take him. So they get Peyton Manning, and we get to see the greatness that this man brings. And that 2013 season that Peyton Manning put up, in my opinion, was the greatest individual season performance by a quarterback. It's the greatest MVP season we've ever seen. Nearly 5,500 passing yards and 55 passing touchdowns. Nobody has been able to break that. Pure greatness. For him to do it at that stage, coming off of the injury, when people never thought Peyton would be able to play at that level again, for him to do that was something truly great. You know, I love the yin and yang that's within his career. You see his career as a Colt and you see his career as a Bronco, and you see the ups and downs. You know, there were moments where you just didn't think he'd break through, and there were moments where you saw the greatness, but you just weren't sure he would get to the top. And yet, at the end of the day, he still won a championship with both those teams. That is something truly special, man. That is something truly special. I appreciate what Peyton Manning brought to the table, and I love that this man got to go out the right way. He got to go out winning a Super Bowl championship, and he rode off into the sunset. I could go on all day, man. I can go on all day and talk about Peyton Manning, but I just want to say congratulations to the man on being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because he truly deserves it, man. My favorite all-time quarterback, and arguably the greatest quarterback to play this game. And I said arguably because I know you still got Brady here, and most people will take Brady. Most people will, they'll argue that, but it is what it is. If you want to take Brady, I got no problem with that. But when it comes to the GOAT conversation, everyone has their own opinion. And as long as you have a player that can make a case for being the greatest of all time, you're free to pick him. And for me, that's Peyton Manning. So I just appreciate everything you brought to the table. Once again, congratulations to Peyton for being officially inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Thank you for what you brought to the game of football, and I'm glad that despite you being retired, you're still around football and you're still making an impact in football, and I appreciate that. Continue to be great, Peyton. Continue to be great.